Here at the Pink Grape, I interview winemakers from all over the world. Our purpose is to have fun, be entertained, discover new wines, and meet great people. I hope you will join our journey around the wine world by subscribing to my channel. If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button, share it with a friend, and please enjoy the interview. David, welcome to the show, The Pink Grape. It's a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Really excited to learn more about you and about your wines. And I want to dive right in and find out how it is you became a winemaker.
Yeah, let's do it. So, I kind of got into wine many years ago. I've been in this craft for about 15, 16 years now. So after high school, I was looking for something fun to kind of get involved with for college. And so I took a couple of tests to see what I might be good at. And wine was on the short list. And I thought, man, why the heck not? Let's dive into this and see if that would work for me.
Great. So right out of high school, you became a winemaker or got into the industry.
I got into the industry. Yeah, it took many years to become a winemaker per se. It took about 10 or so years to kind of go through the trade, work your way up. I find it really helpful to start at the bottom and, intern and do all the dirty jobs to kind of gain an understanding of what you're up to.
And so what is your favorite thing about being a winemaker?
Every day is so different. When I get into work, obviously we've got an agenda for the day of what we're trying to get accomplished, but at any moment things might get derailed and there might be an impromptu wine tasting, which is always really fun. I might need to troubleshoot some electrical work. I might need to go look at some vineyards, but you never really know what you're up to. And that's really kind of a fun element for me.
Yeah, that's a great point. And that actually is true as well to the winemaking process year after year, where, depending on what the weather gives you that year, each year is going to be different when it comes to winemaking, how you decide to make your wine. Isn't that right?
For sure. Yeah. And that's, again, like you said, another kind of element that makes my job so fun. There's really no monotony here. It doesn't exist in winemaking. We're looking at starting our vintage for the 22 harvest next week, which is our earliest harvest yet. And so we have to kind of adapt and make sure that we're prepared, even though maybe we're planning on being prepared in 2 weeks' time. We're going to need to get started next week. And so we have to kind of adjust and that be part of this year's kind of, challenge, if you will, for what we're up to.
And why is it that you have to harvest so early this year?
I mean, as we're all aware, global warming is affecting us all in different ways. Here in kind of the central coast of California, we are very close to the coast. And that closeness kind of prohibits our weather from getting too warm. But what it does do is in the winter, the weather patterns have shifted and we're not getting the rainfall that we typically get. So as we all know, we're in a severe drought and that can lead to wildfire issues, which we see. But that basically is kind of not delaying the growing season from starting. It's starting much earlier in the season. Typically, rainfall will keep the soil cool and the vines dormant. But without that, things warmed up quicker and we're looking at being just a bit earlier than years past.
And speaking of that, I'd like to learn a little bit more about your wine. So you are located in Central California, correct?
We are. Yep. We're located in Carmel, California, which is right in the Central Coast region. We're sourcing most of our fruit from Monterey County, which is we're located in Monterey County, but we're sourcing a little bit from Santa Cruz County, Santa Barbara County, San Luis Obispo, and San Benito counties.
What about your wines? What can you tell us about your wines?
Yeah, what can't I share? We really get to do everything that we want. We've got a full rainbow of wines. We do everything. Like this year, we're working with 29 grape varieties from 22 vineyards. It's really a pretty diverse group. I think we'll be bottling somewhere around 30 different individual wines for the year. We make sparkling wines in multiple methods, ancestral method, a pet nat. We make a Cremant method. We make the traditional sparkling method. We do your white wines. We do orange wines. We've got a really cool non-vintage Solera that I make. We've got carbonic stuff, whole cluster, all the way up to your like traditional big Bordeaux blends. So we really get to play with a lot of different things. We're not just like goofing off and trying to do so much crazy stuff, but it really speaks to our amazing region and the soils and the climate that we've got here is so diverse. Like I mentioned, we're close to the coast, and the closer you get, the cooler it is. So we can grow really cold climate varieties like Pinot and Chard really well, but you get 10 miles inland from there and you're all of a sudden looking at, warmer climate things that, can grow Cabernet really well. And it really is a winemaker's dream to be kind of in this region, have all this diversity within an hour's drive from here.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know you were making that many different wines.
Yeah, we're busy. Yeah.
No kidding. And so if people want to try your wines, I mean, obviously we'll put the link to your website in the description. And but you got like a wine club and all that stuff. And
yeah, of course. Yeah, we've got a really cool wine club, and those members get first access to some of these really cool special wines that we produce. Obviously, you can buy things online, but there is kind of some limitations that go straight to our wine club members. We want to make sure we support them, but we'd love people to come visit us as well. We've got a beautiful tasting room here. We call it the wine garden. Most of our seats are outside where the weather is honestly perfect. Most days of the year, we're probably sitting about 84 degrees right now in mid-afternoon. It's pretty nice. So we've got a full menu. We've got a restaurant here on site and can accommodate, large and small groups alike. It's pretty nice.
Kind of leads into my next question was, what is it that makes wine from Central California, where you're making wine, different compared to the rest of the wines of the world? For example, say Europe, South America, even north of you, the famous Napa Valley. I mean, what makes it different from where you're making wine? Yeah,
look, I mean, I think every region is special in its own right. And I guess as a winemaker, I'd never want to step on the toes of another region to say that we are producing wines that are far and above better than anyone else. I think what is unique in any region, though, is the combination of soils and the climate and what's grown there, right? And that is unique in every part of the world, every small area. We grow Bordeaux's just like Napa does, just like Bordeaux does, right? But in every region, we're a bit cooler here. We've got a lot colder nighttime temperatures. Our acids tend to be quite a bit higher. And so we're producing wines that are a little bit more kind of unique and special in that regard. Old world versus new world too. So, we don't have the rules that France does maybe for producing certain wines. And so we're able to produce some really cool wines that maybe France is kind of limited in producing. Putting blends together that are maybe out of the traditional rules. We're able to kind of goof off and have some fun and try to put some different things together that maybe couldn't be done in other regions.
That's what I thought of when you told me you make 20 plus different wines. It's like, what's cool about that is you can't do that everywhere, right? I mean, there's parts of Europe where you're limited because of the laws of the traditions and everything like that. So that's really cool.
Yeah. So we have fun and we get to do really cool things. One wine that was really fun we did in 2020. This is during the pandemic, and we were kind of sitting around and not many guests were on site. So we made a traditional sparkling wine, and we decided to put it in the Monterey Bay where the water temperature never gets above 60 degrees for its secondary bottle fermentation to create that beautiful effervescence. And we left it around 30 feet underwater for about 4 months through the winter, and let the tides that came through with all the storms continue to kind of stir these bottles up and keep the sediment, the lees in suspension. Things like that are just really cool to get to put your name behind and kind of produce, and things that not everyone gets to make. So yeah, we have fun, but we're doing things in a meaningful way, I hope.
That's amazing. So what did that do to the wine? Did it do anything? What would be the difference between what happened, putting it through the secondary fermentation in the bay as opposed to doing it in the cellar?
Yeah, look, I mean, the bay's temperature, let's say, is similar to what you might be able to achieve with, mechanical cooling in a cellar. You can turn the lights off and keep it dark like it was around 30, 40 feet, right? But what you can't do in a cellar is keep things in suspension. You're not going to get, any movement. There's a natural buoyancy, that far down. The bottles were very light. And so any kind of movement within the sea rock these bottles all the time. And that's something that you cannot replicate. So it definitely added an element to the wine. I will say it was delicious. It is sold out. And unfortunately, we got our hands slapped for doing it. We did. And, it's just one of those things that we respected the ocean and everyone involved. But we didn't get permission from the Coastal Commission, and that was our bad. So, but it was a fun project, and we got to work with some really cool marine biologists and learn some of what they do. And that was really fun.
That's amazing. I love that story. Perfect. Well, David, I always like to end the interviews with the question, and that is, what is your favorite thing about wine?
Man, I love how wine is so evolutionary. And, you could have a bottle of wine or even a type of wine, and the way that I perceive it or people I'm with perceive it is so different, whether it's with food, whether it's a moment, it really enhances life. And that's something that really I haven't found with many other products. And it's just really cool to be behind that and produce something that is so special and meaningful for people. You know, at the end of the day, it is just wine, but we're creating something that kind of enhances life for many people and helps create some pretty spectacular memories. So I love being behind that.
Well, David, it's been great having you on the show today. Love learning about you and about your wines. We'll definitely be sending people your way with your link in the description, and we'll just leave it at that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on today.
I hope you enjoyed this week's interview with a winemaker. Be sure to tune in next week as I'll be interviewing another winemaker. I hope you will join our journey around the wine world by subscribing to this channel. Be sure to like this video and share it with a friend. We'll see you next week. Thank you.